decided to do our senior project about the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribal Youth Council. So the first slide we have our mission statement. So as a youth council, all of us kind of put our own input and we piece this together, all as individuals, but we all collaborate on it. So what it says is, the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe of Michigan Youth Council Youth Group is committed to healing our community through community activities, education, and traditional values, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. We plan to work together towards a brighter future for ourselves, our community, our tribe, and our land without drugs, alcohol, or violence, because we love our people. And then that picture right there, that's just a picture from my point of view of what our meetings look like. I think that one was last week's meeting. So here, these are all of our youth council members. We have our youth council is comprised of 10 youth, but right now we have a vacant spot. But we have 5 executive committee members, and then the rest are general representatives, and then we also have our advisors. So as you can see, Ethan Hunt, he is our male co-president. Jasmine Jackson is our female co-president. I am the youth council secretary. Maya Madrigal is our treasurer. Kenson Taylor is our social director, and then Madison, Abby, Quincy, and Noden, they're all general representatives. And then over there is our list of our advisors, and our advisors help us a lot with our meetings, and when it comes to scheduling our events or planning them, they're the ones who give us advice as to when we should have them and how we should put them together, things like that. Then this is one of our goals that we have as our youth council. We try to get the youth involved in our community as possible, so that's why we schedule as many events as we can. So you can see right here, these are just some of the key points that we have to try to get our youth involved in our community. We offer a wide range of activities, which we have a few examples coming up here pretty soon. And a lot of our events are very family related. Like every Christmas we offer a family bingo. I think it's the week of Christmas Eve, and it's normally around the 17th or 18th, but we normally have quite a few families show up for that. I'd say it's a pretty strong turnout, but that one's kind of like a yearly basis. So that one, we accomplished our goal in doing that one to making it a yearly thing. So that was one of the goals we accomplished. And through these last 2 bullets we have here, we advertise our own events, we create our own flyers, and we just post them all over around the community. We put them in the newspaper, and we also post them on our SCIT Youth Council Facebook page. And I forgot to mention that picture on the side there that said Indigenous Peoples Day. That was when a group of Native students at MSU, they abolished Columbus Day, and they changed Columbus Day into Indigenous Peoples Day down by the rock. Then right here, you changed it. So like I said, this is a list of some of our events. We have a lot of fundraisers because we go on a lot of trips and conferences, and we try to also have to make money for our own events as well. So that's why we have fundraisers. Normally we have bake sales, or we just go around and help with concessions, and they'll probably split the money with us. We also try to have game nights. This was one of the events that we planned for this project. And we're trying to get it into a monthly thing, trying to have it every month, and the turnout wasn't the biggest, but we kind of advertised a little late, probably the week of. So yeah, we're just going to try to advertise better when it comes to that. And another event that we put together, you can see that picture right there, that was last year's SCYT Annual Youth Summit. This one is our own youth summit that we have. There are numerous different ones across the USA, and different tribes put on their own, and this was our very first one that we put together, so it was kind of a big deal for us, and it took a lot of money and time in planning it, and we were a little disappointed with the turnout, just because the same thing with the game night, we just got to advertise better and probably start planning earlier. The biggest key component of our youth summit was the 2 keynote speakers. You can see the one holding on the flag, and then the one on the very right. That was Chance Lee Rush and MC1. Those 2 were our keynote speakers, and that was probably, like I said, the biggest component of our youth summit. Then we also have different leadership trainings. One of them is known as Today's Native Leaders. The last one we went to was probably 2 years ago, and it was in Spokane, Washington. And basically what they do there is they do a bunch of learning workshops, and they're there for over a course of 3 days, and they just do a lot of icebreakers and collaboration with other communities and similar things like that. And the language classes, that's just something that our own youth council does with one of the language teachers on the reservation. She comes in every now and then and she just teaches us the language, gives us short little lessons. This is another example of one of the events that we have. This one is obviously more holiday related. It's obviously around Christmas time as well, but we all like to help our elders as much as we can. And On the Lot is one of our kind of retirement homes that we have at the reservation. And normally they don't have a lot of visitors, so we like to go there as much as we possibly can. And whenever they get gifts, either they're receiving them or if they're gifting them, we're the ones that always help them wrap them up, whether no matter what they're doing with those gifts. Then this slide right here, this is an example of some of the concessions that we do. This one was for Zeewoong Center's birthday sale that they have every year. I think this one was their 10th year anniversary, so it was 3 years ago. Yeah, this is just a small thing that we like to do in the community. We try to help out as much as we possibly can. Then right here, this is something that's more bigger based than just a community. This one was obviously it's kind of self-explanatory. No Dakota Access Pipeline and No Line 5 rally in Lansing, Michigan. We took it upon ourselves to go down to this rally, and we actually had one of our youth council members, you can see right there, Kenson Taylor. He was speaking on behalf of the youth council on why we shouldn't have these two pipelines going on through in Standing Rock and here in Michigan. And then this one, this is probably one of our most recent meetings. I think it happened 2 weeks ago. One of our most recent collaborations that we'll be having. What happened was Northwestern University had contacted the youth council and they asked us if we could participate or help out with an event that they're having up there. And what they had asked us is that they wanted us to collaborate with our elders in our community, which is the Elders Advisory Board. And you can see that this was like after the meeting. What they basically want us to do is they want us to bring a group of elders with us and carry our flags, our tribal flag, and they also want us to give them one to keep so they can hang it in one of their new facilities that they just built. You can see, you see Abby, myself, Maya, Madison Keekwam, and then Kenson Taylor, and then the rest is the advisory board. And we'll also be meeting again with them tomorrow. Like it's kind of impending right now. So we're trying to get a confirmation as soon as we can. Then right here, this was the main event that we're kind of working on for this project. It was our Tribal Youth Game Night. It wasn't that bad of a turnout. I say it went fairly well, so we'll probably try to have another one again tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next month, my bad. But we didn't only have video games, we also had games in the gym. We had like a little pickup game of basketball, some of them. I think we're going to try to do kickball next time. You know, if they don't really want to play video games, they can just come in the gym and do whatever they want to do. You know, we're also going to try to make it a little more structured when it comes to video game wise, because they just kind of kept changing the games. So maybe next time we might put a tournament together. And the next thing I want to talk about is some of the conferences that we go to. This one is one that we go to every year. It's known as the National Unity Conference. Unity is an acronym, and what it stands for is United National Indian Tribal Youth. Now, this is probably one of the biggest conferences when it comes to youth council. All of them, they kind of go into one location. I think the biggest one was the White House gathering in 2015. That one had about 3,000 plus youth council groups over there, and it's they all do the same thing every year. What they do is they give us all kinds of slots and a schedule of how the whole week is going to pan out. And a lot of it is composed of different kinds of workshops. I remember one I went to, this one that's pictured over there, this one was in Oklahoma City. The workshop that really stuck with me was the one that was called the Pipeline to Law Initiative. And basically what it was, they had two collegiate representatives, one from Oklahoma State University and then one from here and MSU. And basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to get more students interested in the law field and how important it is that we need Native lawyers nowadays. Now another big component of this, that was a big component in ours, was the different kinds of keynote speakers. I remember some of them, they obviously had Chance Rush and MC1, and they had Billy Mills. They had a bunch of chairmen from different reservations in Oklahoma. I thought it was really cool how they had a lot of local chairmen come to this one. And then obviously another big part of this is the connection that we all kind of have when we get here. There's not really, not everybody's just in their own youth council. Everybody just kind of gets together and, socialize and try to build relationships with other communities. And one of the big nights here is the culture exchange night. Since every youth council comes from a different region, every single one of them kind of has their own specific cultural dance or cultural presentation that they have. So that's what this night is dedicated to. This year the Unity Conference is going to be in Denver, Colorado, and we're probably going to try to piece together like an old style Great Lakes woodland dance together so that we can bring this down there. And then another thing that's important at this conference is that they have the selection of the regional representatives. Now the regional representatives are part of a larger EC when they're kind of in charge, and they help plan the Unity Conference every February, because every year the Unity Conference is in July, so they obviously need a lot of time to plan such a huge event like this. And then the one in the picture that basically just shows the formal gala, that one's always on the last night, and just kind of get everybody ready to say their goodbyes the next day. These are some more pictures that we have from Unity last year. This one was on the way there. It's Ethan and Odin. We had a layover in Atlanta. Then the one in the center, that one's from the gala. There's myself, Ethan, Odin, and Kenson. And then the one on the end was when they give us a lot of time in between workshops to just allow us to roam around the city. And that day, I think it was like 107 degrees, and we were just kind of wandering around. We regret it after. This other conference that we went to, this was the very first time that our youth conference or our youth council went here. This one we were actually invited to when we had to select certain members off our youth council, and I think it said 2 male representatives, 2 female representatives, and then our advisor. And this one was known as the Washington, D.C. Housing, Urban, and Development National Native Youth Summit. Basically what this one was, since it was the Housing and Urban Development Department, it was kind of like the betterment, or to better your community, because they had all of them from different regions once again. And I remember we had to construct a plan. I think I'm the only one that remember it. We had to make a presentation of it because we had to present it at Capitol Hill. But ours lost to the Meskwakis. Theirs was a little better than ours. But basically we were still trying to follow through with our plan. And what we were trying to do is we're going to collaborate. The Youth Council is going to collaborate with our Behavioral Health Department. And we're going to try to start a mentoring program to keep our youth growing in a healthy way. And then we also have the land development. That one was just if they have any extra land, they're going to try to put as much use as they possibly can. And I was going to save that next bullet for the next slides. When we were here, we had different kinds of case studies, and most of them were based off the monuments that were all over DC. So basically we went to each monument for like 15 minutes, and they gave us like these packets, and what we had to do is just like answer a bunch of questions about them. And some of them even questioned if we should have monuments for them. Like I think it was the one for Andrew Jackson. They were questioning like, was he really a hero, things like that. But we checked out the White House. That one we didn't really have a case study on. We were just kind of around there, so we stopped by real quick. That was where we were staying at 4-H Conference Center. That was where they were keeping us. We were there for about 5 days. The ones that were selected were myself, Kenson Taylor, Jasmine Jackson, and Kendra Sear. And then our advisor was Heather Surratt. These are some more pictures of case studies. We visited the Martin Luther King Jr. Monument. The one from Chinatown, that one was an interesting one because what they had us do, they had us go to different areas in DC, and they basically had us study the living conditions of each and every different district that they had in DC. Now that one is saying like looking at the cracks in the sidewalk, the trash everywhere, how people were dressed around there. It was pretty interesting to look at, especially once we all got back together and compared them to all the other districts. Some of them were better than, I think Chinatown was probably like the second best district to live in. Then the one on the far, your guys is right, that one was interesting because we focused on one of them that helped post that flag. That one was Ira Hayes, I believe it was. He was actually of Native descent, so he helped post that flag. Then here to close it off, we basically just kind of have our future of our youth council. One thing that we still have to work on is consistent youth participation. We actually have kind of like a sub-youth council to where we have all the different youth in the community form a youth group. Like they're supposed to come to the meetings, but we don't really have anybody else that's off youth council come to the meetings. So we got to try to do that. And we're going to try to get more permanent youth council events like the Family Bingo, and we're trying to make our annual youth summit a permanent one as well. And then the more youth interaction with youth council is basically the same thing as the first bullet, but you know, just kind of more on a non-business like level. Well, I think that's about it. I guess I can talk about that picture real quick. That was the night that our male co-president got voted to represent the Midwest region on the executive committee, and it was a pretty emotional night. Obviously, it was also a very proud moment. Yeah, that was just a nice picture that we threw in here.